There we go. All right. Yeah, I don't know what happened. So, whatever.
Let's just pretend we had to take like a super important business call.
Super important business
Yeah.
call.
Who are we on the phone with?
My tax advisor. So my offshore accounts need some attention.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was talking to our ads guy.
Oh, the ads guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So who are we sponsoring this week, Jeffrey?
Well, sponsoring us.
Right. We got to say nice things about him, though.
Well, who are we sponsoring? Nobody. But who was sponsoring us this week?
Who is sponsoring us this week?
Orville Redenbacher.
Is he still alive?
Been dead for a long time.
Right.
But he still slings that corn.
The corn. So
Yeah. So we got Orville Redenbacher.
okay.
We have Glade plugins.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. We're heavy hitters this week.
The heavy hitters.
And, of course, Squarespace.
The Squarespace, yeah. The easiest way to build a website in 5 minutes or less. So.
And the thing is, one of them wants us to begin our podcast with, this podcast was brought to you by.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace.
But they all said they wanted it.
Oh, they got to fight for it. So.
How do we make that determination?
Who puts more zeros on the check?
All right, let me call him back.
Yeah, call him back. Yeah. Give him a call.
Yeah, I remember a long time ago we were doing sort of like informal endorsements of things. And I'm trying to think about anything that really improved my life. I know that you talked about those spatulas.
Yeah, I don't know who made them though. So, I mean, they were just part of my Amazon loot crate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do I have a name brand product that I've used lately that I've really been impressed with? I don't really think so, man. So
Kind of disappointing.
it is,
Yeah.
but there hasn't been much need in my house to actually go out and get new shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about things that I just haven't had in a while. So, I mean, I can't... The closest thing I can give you that was so far off the beaten path for me was... I got like a can of Duncan Hines frosting. And I ate like half of it. I felt awful.
It felt terrible.
So that's not an endorsement, but I'm also not using the product as intended. So
You're supposed to put it on a cupcake. Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Because
Would you just eat it with a spoon?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you're right. Because you're absolutely right. I didn't cut it with anything. I didn't use any ice. I didn't.
What? Ice on your frosting?
No, well,
Oh.
like you're talking about it like an alcohol.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't.
Okay, yeah. You
No water.
pulled
Just,
the cork right out of the bottle and head at it. Huh? Yeah. I used to do that frosting. I'd put it on, spread it on Ritz crackers. So there was just something about it. It was divine.
that sounds a little bit weird, but I'll bet you it's not.
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's
I'll
really
bet you
good.
it's not.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about things that you can just start like count the minutes coming off your life
Oh, yeah.
with each one you down.
Spoonful of frosting apiece.
But you put it on a Ritz cracker, man. I mean, so
Yeah.
it's not like those are exactly like.
Oh, no, they're made out of
Broccoli.
butter. Yeah. And salt.
So I know that prototype batch of beef jerky I made.
Cooking something up in the bat cave, man.
Oh, well, I told you about this.
Yeah, I
This was the stuff that guaranteed. Like you're talking about, the flow chart just ends right there. It says you get 80, forget about it.
You're not gonna make it if you
It's-
keep
it's-
eating this stuff.
Oh no, it's done because I ate it. It's just So that deal is finished. But yeah, then it's like you're eating a can of this
Right.
frosting. It's like that's the sound of me drawing check marks of like, there's a year.
There's a year.
There's a
There's
year.
another year.
There's a
Yeah.
year. And then the the Grim Reaper's checklist. He's like, you smoke for how many years?
Right. Yeah.
He's like 20, huh?
20, huh? Cool.
Huh. All right. Why are you making so many checks? Like, just do one.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
do one.
Just do one. You just need to check off this top box here.
Yeah.
You're good. fact, when we get the GUI set up, it'll do it automatically. So
Right.
We'll check all the other boxes for you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That was bad news.
Yeah. Speaking of bad news, what's going on in the world, man? Anything new? I only watched TV today. So
Wait, what do you mean you only watched?
I watched the ADV guys. So
Oh.
yeah.
Okay, so you didn't watch any TV at all.
No, not really. I watched YouTube. Put it that way.
Let me say it this way. All right, so the in theory, the big hubbub is still, of course, the legal ruling, but I gotta tell you, if the lack of fights that I've been able to generate is any indication, I'm not sure if people are as upset about this as they let on.
Yeah. I've seen a couple people basically call it a nothing burger. So that, like, well, anybody who's going to come out to vote for the Democrats this fall is probably already committed to that regardless of this. It's not going to get anybody else out there.
And it's not like any of these places that are likely to prohibit this were really in that blue camp anyway.
No, they're not. Yeah.
So, the little litmus test of how does this affect me personally? The answer is not at all, because if this is a decision left up to the states, great.
I did see something where Hillary Clinton was actually talking about it. Yeah, I know. It was like, oh, well, if you think you can if they're going to take this away now, wait till what they're going to take away next.
Oh, yeah. I heard that.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Come
Man.
on,
Dude,
man.
she's going to fucking try and run for president again.
I guarantee you.
You think so?
Yeah, I know.
Do you think if she runs, is she going to try and run against Joe Biden in a primary?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
See, I don't know if the DNC would actually allow somebody to primary a sitting president.
Well,
I mean,
let me
I've
say
never
this.
seen that happen. So,
When it comes to whether or not this was actually a good idea,
yeah.
that shrieking hag has found a way to. Sorry.
I almost sprayed that all over your computer, man.
Always
Shrieking hag.
found a way to throw her nose in where it doesn't belong,
Yeah.
whether it's a good idea or not.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know what to tell you. I feel like whether or not. Look, here's my honest prediction.
Okay. We're going to mark
Given-
the time.
Well,
So,
look, I don't think I'm going out
May
on a limb
6th.
here. I don't think I'm going out on a limb.
Yeah,
here.
okay.
I think that basically, were it that President Biden doesn't succumb to natural causes,
Right. Yeah. They check his box. Yeah.
if he doesn't succumb to check marks, then I honestly believe that that's such a liability at that point, because all anybody has to do is put together a greatest hits of he's
Oh, they're
all
going to
there,
pound him.
right?
Oh, whoever he runs against is just absolutely going to pound him with that shit.
So there's a possibility, like at that point, he would just say like, "Sorry guys, I don't have."
Well, it's going to be like 81
Yeah.
or something. But, like, Trump isn't even that much younger than he is.
He's not,
Yeah.
but he also doesn't look like he's shaking hands.
Yeah, that's true. With the plants.
Right. Yeah. Like, unless he meant to.
Good to meet you, Ambassador.
Exactly. Unless he strictly meant to because he didn't like your house or whatever. I don't think that Trump has whizzed in a closet, but I feel like Biden has.
Mistake, yeah.
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 So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how far out of it he is, but I don't have much hope for where he'll be in 2.5 years. Yeah, the question is, does the Orange Menace come back? And I don't know if I don't think I can call that one yet.
that one I've seen signs that he may be, and he's drumming up attention and he's appearing at conventions
Yeah.
and doing stuff like this. But he's also, the odd thing is that he's throwing his hand in at doing a little bit of king making right now. And so,
Yeah, he's been doing a little bit of that.
so the question is whether he's satisfied with doing that, or I don't know.
I don't know.
It's way too early for me to call. The last couple of elections have had so many curveballs thrown at me in terms of, because look, I'm going to say this: the election itself last time around is radically different if they don't have the everybody gets a mail-in ballot due to COVID. And there's absolutely no way that you can justify doing that in 2.5 years.
Well, yeah, it just depends on, like, well, even some of the states weren't necessarily doing that. I mean, I don't know about how much that actually matters. So maybe in a larger general election, sure. But like here in Colorado, it doesn't fucking matter. We've got mail-in ballots for decades now. Yeah. And actually, some of the key swing states were the same way. So, like Michigan's always had mail-in ballots. And stuff. So I don't know how much of that would it actually matter. Maybe Arizona. I don't know, man. I haven't really gone down the rabbit hole on the electioneering fraud. So the way that I see it is like it would take a massive amount of that. All right, and if that's the case, the evidence would be a little bit more like patently apparent, I would think.
I don't think, dude. The problem here is,
I mean, I'm not happy. I'm not upset that the guy lost. I think he's a fucking menace. So, that's my bias right off the bat. I'd rather have a weak, feeble president in Joe Biden than fucking Donald Trump. So, I don't think I can say the same thing about Hillary Clinton. No. I can't do that, man.
You don't have to say it. I said it. It's all right. You just don't have to disagree.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, no, I can't believe, I mean, if she came back, I mean, the Democrats wouldn't have a fucking prayer. So.
She thinks they do.
Dude, that's delusional. So, yeah. I don't know. But you're right. I have been seeing, she's been making some more media appearances lately. And it's about the time where you're going to start seeing people do that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's gonna make the rounds, and she's. I think she's already said, like, I haven't ruled it out. And I guess that's fine if she wants to do that, but
she's gonna hand it to the Republicans if she does that, man. So,
Patrick, I'm gonna tell you, I think, I honestly feel that's an inevitability at this point.
It might be, yeah. We'll see what goes on with the economy. I think that's going to have a lot more determination on what happens this fall than probably Roe. Yeah, but I mean, so the economy could go a couple different ways. So, like, who was it? Blythe had another one up today.
Yeah?
Yeah, hadn't seen that fucker around in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, like, talking about inflation in particular, he was like just making some really patently obvious points about it. He's like, well, there's obviously something structural that's going on here. Okay, so the last time anybody got free money from the government was almost 1.5 years ago at this point in time. He said, well, energy prices have stabilized. And
they're high.
They're high, but they have stabilized.
Yeah.
And he said if that was actually driving inflation, they would not stabilize. So, and then on the other thing that he was talking about is like, and in particular, some of the like debates surrounding things like debt forgiveness and stuff like that. He's like, these look to appear to be fundamentally inflationary policies, but he says that's not the fucking problem. He says the problem is you got 800 fucking cargo ships sitting outside of Shanghai right now, and a government that's not going to do anything about it. So, and so he was actually talking a little bit about like some of the pros and cons behind inflation. He's like, well, look, it's like if inflation grows at this rate for another year, so we could see a recession. And he says otherwise we could actually see what we've seen in a lot of other inflationary cycles in the past. So it's basically a time for people to offload a shitload of debt. So, because as long as your salary keeps going up and it looks like wages are actually keeping lockstep with inflation at the moment, you're going to outrun your debts. So, he says companies want that just as much as everybody else. So, right now. So, because he's like, there's a lot of corporate paper out there that, I mean, it's got to mature eventually. And so if we can get rid of it sooner, let's do that. So it actually delever a lot of the debt, and so it could actually be a decent thing. So you never know.
Yeah, the problem with that is that that's such a big picture kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Where, look, all I can tell you is I can show you my receipts from Safeway, and I can tell you how much more it costs to buy the same goddamn groceries.
I spent $300 on meat today, man. So there you go. Yeah, no.
So
my grocery bills have easily gone up by 15-20%. So
that's what I'm talking about. And you know what? I'm in a position where I have one dependent and she eats kibble.
I have 3. 2 of them eat kibble and one of them eats grilled cheeses.
So when I'm sitting there like mulling over the 20% on Purina 1, right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's
all right,
not a big deal.
So I'm not crushed.
Yeah.
But turns out a lot of people in our cohort have like 2, 3 kids, 4.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know though, man. I mean, if I look at people in my cohort, I don't use them as a very good gauge because most people in my cohort make considerably more than I do. So
yeah, there is that, but still, like, again, that's a noticeable difference to them where they're like, all right, this is what I was spending to put ice cream sandwiches in my family, and this is where I am now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think, we'll see how much that affects the fall. I think if that actually lasts for a year or two, it'll certainly affect the next presidential election. But the fall, it's so, the thing that I have a little bit of trouble with this fall is, okay, I'm very happy with Jared Polis.
Okay.
He could be a screaming Republican or whatever, one way or the other. I'd vote for him. I'd vote for him.
Party is irrelevant as far as
his party is irrelevant. He's a good dude. All right. Yeah. So I don't know. I think we've got one senator who's up for election this fall.
I think you're right.
I can't remember if it's Hick or if it's the other guy. I don't remember. I can't tell you either.
I'll know when the ballot comes in.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but all right. So. And so I don't really know how much that is actually going to change. And so why is everybody paying attention to the Ohio thing? Is it just because Trump put his thumb on the scale, or is it because the best balance of the Senate is one way or another? I mean, I don't even fucking know. Why is it important?
Well, okay, so there's exactly what you said. Look, the actual importance of it, I don't know. I just know what people are saying is the importance of it.
Okay.
I don't have the I don't have my deep-rooted connections into the Ohio political underworld that I once did. Right?
You have the shirt.
Well, I mean, look, it's I burned all those in 2020. So those connections are gone, right?
Yeah.
But I don't have the real story. I just have what this side says is a big deal, what this side says is a big deal, and the thing is, my gut tells me it's not a big deal, but you guys want to make everything a big deal.
Yeah, I know. So
all right.
He's just spinning from crisis to crisis to crisis constantly. So
yep, there's a lot of people that. What I don't know is actually if the little Ukrainian flags are going to go back into the Twitter bios, because this is what I thought was funny. This is the act of leftist self-destruction that I've been waiting on, right? And I don't mean this in a negative way, right? But I knew that this eventually had to come to a head.
Well, it wasn't.
All right, so
this is on the PvP server.
Very much so.
Okay. All right.
This is where you saw the best. You saw the best boulders and Greek fire and disease being loaded into catapults and launched at each other.
Corpses.
So okay, that's true. So after the Supreme Court loaded that plague wagon and launched it over the fence, right? The question was, how is retaliation going to work and who's it going to come from, right? So what has historically been the argument pro-abortion, pro-choice been? What is the
right to
tagline?
choose, right?
Whose right to choose?
Women's right to choose.
All right, this is where the shit hit the fan.
On the Twitter?
Of course.
Okay.
Because the same group that has been pounding the drum for the basically saying that men can get pregnant too, and okay,
That's real?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
It's probably a tumor. Sorry.
Well, because a lot of that has to come into identification.
Right. I get that. But
So when that happened, okay, and that crowd jumped in, the female crowd was kind of like, you know what? Just this once, guys. This isn't fucking about you, right? But then the response was, how is it not?
wait a minute. What crowd was it? This was the trans.
Basically, the trans
Yeah,
community
okay.
was kind of like, we're this is a woman's issue and we're women.
Yeah.
And so basically, like, women were like, no, the fuck you're not. This isn't about you this time. Back the fuck off, right? This is a women's issue. It's like, who are you to decide a women's? And you're just sitting there watching, like, Godzilla fucking fight with. No, well, okay, because we're not. These would be two hated things. So you're talking about you watch. Vanilla Ice and Tone Loc arm wrestle, and you're just kind of like, you guys can beat the crap out of each other. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're watching this happen in real time where you're seeing 95% of the time it's like, yeah, we're on your side. Yeah, we're on your side. Yeah, we're supporting you. And then it's like, get the fuck out of our issue. This doesn't concern
Doesn't
you.
concern you. Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, so you're on their side. It's like, not on their side, you asshole. It's like, but you have to reconcile right now. It's like,
Yeah.
and so there was that eruption, which, again, I don't want to moralize too much. I'm there to laugh at it because there's certain segments in here that have thrown themselves willingly into the insane asylum.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. How much longer are we gonna have to put up with this shit?
Well,
It's just like there are elements of it that are just wearing so fucking thin.
this is all pendulum movement. It is going back to.
Yeah.
It is absolutely going back. The fact that Disney has now backed off. The fact that Netflix has now backed off.
I saw that.
Right. This is, you're just coming this way, right? Because as soon as those guys were like, oh, people are not spending money.
Yeah.
And they want to kick us out of Florida.
Right. Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, that market just can't be squeezed.
Yeah, no,
they're
money-
not supporting us more than what the detraction is. So it's like, all right, we have to go back, to what Disney used to be.
Yeah.
which
Don't make money.
was apolitical as fuck. That was their.
Well, I mean, okay, so I don't think it was apolitical as fuck. I think Disney always had like a conservative bent to it for a long time. So
Right, but not in the terms of like. They weren't like anti-communist.
oh god, no, yeah,
But that's what I'm saying, like-
but no, it was like you always knew kind of where the company was going to stand, and like very, very kind of like old school, like Hoover type conservative. For the longest time, like the motto was Ward Cleaver.
It was don't make waves. It was
Don't make waves, right?
That's
yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
No,
that's when I say apolitical.
yeah, that's changed over the last 20 years. And so, but like most corporations, most companies, I think they've gotten pretty wise to this. Back the fuck off a lot of it. I just realized that really when it comes down to it, you can only call people racist for so long before they start telling you to fuck off and take their money somewhere else.
Yeah.
And especially like some of the media outlets. I mean, I don't like. It'll be interesting to see like exactly what is the fallout of the whole CNN Plus thing. It'll probably take a little while, but we'll actually kill off one of the 3 major cable news networks, maybe. So,
Well, I would argue that in their case, that one of them is redundant,
yeah, absolutely.
right?
Yeah, one of them is totally redundant. So, the question is, which of those 2 actually survive? I can't tell you that, man.
And to what I mean,
Yeah,
the
to what
only
effect?
the argument that I would say, of course, is like bet on the big network NBC, but at the same time,
MSNBC is really small. So
well, that's what, but I'm just saying it's part of NBC.
yeah, no, the parent corporation. Yeah,
But then again, then when I look at it, I say, well, who is CNN owned by?
yeah, they're owned by Time Warner, right?
Discovery.
Oh, Discovery. That's right.
And
It
Discovery
used to be Time
is
Warner.
bloody huge.
Discovery's, yeah, it's pretty big. Is it NBC big? I don't know. I'd have to go look. So
Well, I mean, this is the thing: is Discovery owns Warner. I mean, they have a huge library under their belt, right?
Yeah.
And it was essentially their money that got flushed down the toilet with.
yeah, wasn't it like 300 million or something?
Yeah, which in the grand scheme of things, like fucking, I know a dude that just spent 44 billion on Twitter.
Yeah.
So,
But that's kind of an outlier, man. It's pretty rare when some dude just plunks down the cash for an entire company.
no, because it's even funnier then, because if you think about the other way around, would been if he had that sort of cash on hand and was upset, I would love to see it jump and it's like, I'm going to buy CNN.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah. If he can, I guess. I don't know. So, I mean,
By Twitter,
yeah. I don't know.
I guarantee you he would have spent less to get.
You would have spent a
CNN.
lot less to get CNN, but like Twitter as a standalone entity is a little bit different. So it's company, so you just buy enough of the stock and it's yours, essentially. Well, in his case, he had to get certain. I mean, once his institutional investors were like, fine, take the money, it's his. But like CNN's not like its own standalone thing. You can't just go buy CNN shares. You got to go talk to Discovery and say like, hey, I want that. Okay. Well,
And then there's what do you want it for?
what are you going to do with it?
Well, so I've got a truck down there by Home Depot.
Right.
Okay. And I'm gonna grab like 10 guys, right?
Right.
And a whole shitload of plywood.
Right. Yeah.
And we're gonna shutter that building.
Yeah.
Like, are
We're
you
going to
serious?
build the coolest treehouse ever.
Oh no. we're literally going to embarrass it by leaving the CNN logo up and then just putting plywood over
For all the windows. Yeah.
Like,
So
that's why you want to buy it.
that's why I want to buy it.
It's like, how much?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like this is just like spun out to such like it's so far out there in the relevant zone
Oh yeah.
in some respects where like I don't even know if I would pay money for it.
Well, not mine.
No, not mine. I don't think I'd spend Elon Musk's money on it either. So
If he gave it to me, he
yeah,
said
if
like,
he gave it to me, yeah, you'd never see me again. Bye.
no, man. So there's that. What's funny is, especially in comparison. So let me take the success story of those guys. Do you think there would be any value in a Fox Plus?
No. No, well, I mean, okay, so we do know somebody who actually streams it like 12-hour sessions, so maybe
that was part of the
that's
discussion.
kinda weird,
It was like
yeah.
12 straight effing hours of Fox or something like that. Yeah.
but I mean, why would you pay for something that you can basically get for free and it's still, part of your basic cable package that you're going to buy anyway? Yeah, see, that just never made any sense. So,
Well, there was a long time when it made perfect sense when they were all by their loansome. and
like
they were-
25 years ago, yeah. So,
I'm talking about the respectable years. Dude.
yeah, with the Bernard Shaw years,
the one and only, yeah. But yeah, so I mean, they'd have been making perfect sense. But yeah, at this point, I would say like you guys are overdue for consolidation. You think CNN at this point? I think their issue is that they actually think that they're an institution. Like this is
yeah.
like CNN is just it's part of your life. It's part of the DNA of society.
Yeah, but it's not, man. It's been
Yeah.
playing in airports for decades, and that's
Oh,
about
yeah.
it, man. I mean, so when bad news goes down, really bad fucking news, you never turn to CNN, you turn on the network, so at that point in time.
Or you get on the internet.
Or you get on the internet. I don't know, man. So knock on wood, it's been a long time since something just like absolutely captured everybody's attention for like a day or two. So, It's been a while. So,
Well, okay, what do you mean by actually captured attention?
so it's like a big enough news event. Like, we haven't had a fucking humongous earthquake in California or something.
No, but I mean, you
No.
could argue that the Russian invasion of Ukraine was a...
You could argue that, but like, it's not one of those things where you get out of the car. All right.
COVID-19.
Yeah, COVID-19, maybe. But that was kind of a slow-moving disaster. So, I mean, it wasn't like an event like 9/11 where everybody watched TV for like 3 fucking days.
No, but
No.
but if you're... given the fact that we actually did have about 2 months of just straight-up panic buying,
We did have
it's
that.
pretty clear that people
Yeah.
were glued to this,
Yeah,
because
that's true.
otherwise...
Yeah, no, that's true.
you wouldn't have people trying to basically double their fortunes by buying all the toilet paper.
Assholes.
I know. I'm just, like,
So,
this is like how like the Republican guys are made. It's like, so who are you? It's like, well, I'm Ron Kennedy. I was a toilet paper bootlegger.
yeah.
And so now he has like an empire. But so we did have some panic into that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but even that, I think like when that stuff was on, I wasn't watching no CNN, man. So
No.
no. Yeah, I can't really think. It's been a while since there's been a news event where it's like, oh, what the fuck is going on? Tell me what's going on. Kind of thing. I don't know. Hopefully we don't have another one of those anytime soon.
No, of course not. Yeah.
No. There's too much weirdness going on.
Any weirdness.
Oh. I don't know, like just watching the Ukraine thing kind of slide off the front page, so it's down to like the 6th page now. So like I read the journal now, I actually paid for it. But I know I ran out of monies, free monies. But you got to go to the world section, so they still do a pretty good job of covering it in some respects, but it's also like, all right. Now we're all looking at like the possibility that Roe versus Wade gets overturned, and that's on the first 3 pages. Well, it's still the journal, so inflation's always on the first page.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true.
So yeah, that and the crash in raviolis today. So
Oh, that wasn't awesome. But then again, it's a lot of that is tied with the stock market.
it is, so, and which was weird because they always used to be inversely correlated, and now they're kind of like they run together in tandem.
Well, that means that something is an institution and not going anywhere.
That might be true.
No matter how much
It might be
people
these
don't
might
want
be
it to
substitutes for each other.
Yeah.
I did see that El Salvador is actually going to break a bunch of those bonds, though. They're going to default on them.
Is that bad?
I think that might be bad, but I can't trust any crypto news, man. So there are so many guys out there who like just have a vested stake in like anything.
Yeah.
So that you can't look at any of the predictions and take any of them seriously. You can't look at any of the news and that and really take it with much of a grain of salt, with much more than a healthy dose of salt. Because
Yeah.
there's like some people out there. It's just like, oh wait, you're one of those guys. You're a Peter Schiff, aren't you? Go! Yeah, I'll give you those low. It's like, how much Dogecoin do you own? So yeah.
Dude, I have been sort of religiously reading about this stuff for past few years.
Yeah,
And
I did too, and I've kind of backed away from some of it, man, because. Well, I'll finish the thought. I don't want to step on you there.
Well, I think we're going to be sharing some of the same thoughts. Is there are some articles that are basically evergreens, and I do mean you spin the wheel, and you spin the wheel, and your article like populates itself, and it is blank is doomed.
Right, yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, or blank will go to 1 million, yeah.
Right. And every time, of course, like a total asshole that I am, I'm like, will it? And I start, fucking counting pennies, and I'm like, can I do something about it? And then I'm like, wait, if it's published here, it's late.
Yeah, it's already too late.
I mean, like, half the things that I sit there and look at is like, there's so many things that I wish I could have invested on, but I'm always late on the train of this because I can't be on the cutting edge of this.
Right.
Because this means I'm getting in on the ground floor, the really risky shit.
Yeah.
And that would mean that I'd have like $100,000 just sitting in my pocket. I'm like, I'm going to put this on this new up and comer that comes out today, BTK coin, right? And you watch it go from an 18th of a cent to $2. And were I in that position, I'd be like, well, Patrick, which island am I going to buy?
Right. Yeah.
But I'm not so far deep in the inside of with the before that action happens. I'm part of the second wave.
Yeah, me too.
And the second wave is where people write those dumbass articles.
Yeah, and it's for your consumption, and if in the second wave, you're already the sucker. So,
That's harsh, but you're right.
Yeah, that's why, like, just dollar cost averaging, man. Just buy the same amount every fucking week and you're fine.
Well, or minted. That's sort of...
Or mint it, yeah. So, or mint it. So,
yeah, I'm over there, grinding.
Yeah. It is not responding the way that I expected it to with inflation going up, though.
No, and this is challenging what my expectations would be in terms of what I thought people's response would be. Now, again, I think this is still going to take off, but it may be longer than I thought.
It'll probably be a little while.
And I totally understand because, like, I suppose this is just like the music industry. It's like in times of trouble, you go with what you know, so you're going to pull back on this, and that's going to decrease the volume. Blah 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 blah. We can talk about that. You know how this works, but you and I also both know that the economy is sort of like Pokemon cards sometimes, right? No, and I say this like because you're sitting there and it's like parents are getting shot trying to buy these things for their kids, right? And one pack of these things is going to be what you win at the fair, like if you bust enough balloons or whatever like that. Super rare. Okay, nobody can find these for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Right. And then you don't know exactly when, but it happens. And then you go into a card shop and you're like, do you guys buy Pokemon cards? It's like, I'll take the whole lot for $6.
Right.
And the economy's kind of like that sometimes too, in reverse, where it's like, boy, this sucks. And then some afternoon when you're not paying attention, you're like, oh shit, everything's good.
Yeah, everything's good. Yeah.
There's no big news about it. It just turned around. There's no like, there's no version of this where like people love to write certain histories where they want to come in there and say like, with the invention of this or with this, this turned around. But it just doesn't work that way. Sometimes it's just, it's fixed.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of things do have a tendency to kind of sort themselves out regardless.
Pretty much. Yeah. Like sometimes like you can sit there and call Comcast all day, right? And they'll just give you the message like, we're aware of an outage. And if you hang out long enough, it just starts working.
It's right, yeah, exactly. You just go out in your garage for a little bit, you come back in, it's like, oh, the internet's back.
It's just something that's like, oh shit, I'm gonna go outside, I guess. Yeah. And then you gotta take the dog for a walk and then
touch grass.
Yeah. You do that for a little bit, you come back, it's like, all right, cool, the internet's back. Yeah. Right?
I think raviolis will be the same way. So I think you're gonna have quite a few people there are a lot of people, even institutional investors out there, have a cost basis that is really high right now because they got in like last year or the year before. So, like, man, I mean, I'll look back on how long I've had mine now. It's like, man, if it goes all the way down to where I lose money on this shit now, that's my bad. Yeah. So,
But then again, if it gets down to that point, I guarantee you there's a string of heavy hitters that would jump in and say, I'm going to make a ton of money on this right
now. There are, but like the one thing is that like every last one of the cryptos out there, they have the whales out there.
Yeah.
And like Bitcoin is actually one of the worst ones. And so in that respect, it's like less than 100 accounts own like more than 70% of all the Bitcoins out there. And so, I mean, as long as, if any of those guys move, the whole market moves, one way or another. And so it's got that random element in it where the guy just decides, hey, it's my time to have a private island. So, yeah. And it has nothing to do with anything that you heard in any of the news.
No, it's it's like, did you happen to be holding a whole shit ton of Cardano this week?
Right, yeah.
You're like, yes. Why? So you can sell it now.
Right.
Because if you hold on to it for another week and a half,
It's worthless.
but if you sell it now, just understand,
Yeah.
you think this is about to be the rocket ship to the moon because you saw a huge thing like this.
Yeah.
Move it.
Get it out now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, you know, at this point, because of the way that
Oh, I learned my lesson in Cardano. Fuck that shit.
well, the fact is everything took a bath, but it all took a bath pretty evenly.
It did.
Right. And that's actually sort of a sign of hope for me.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Whereas if something dips like 50%, I'm like, oh, you got found out. There's something.
Right, yeah. So
What happened to you?
yeah. So you have been buying weapons for the Russians, huh? You got it. Yeah. Ooh.
Is that bad?
I don't know.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah,
huh?
it's bad.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
We
I'm
said
going to
it's
jail?
bad. Yeah.
Oh.
I better sell
Well, I don't
this.
want that.
Yeah, that's bad.
I'm white.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a skinhead. All right, man. I think I don't know how high up we are here, but I'm guessing we're about 2 hours. So
Whatever.
something. Yeah.
We had
had technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So this will be 2 episodes, maybe.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right. Any last thoughts for the week?
No, you got all of them.
Okay, man.
Yeah.